The fence around the circular pool is 75 feet long. What is the radius? Use 3.14 for pi. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. Do not include units in your answer. So for me, with this kind of a problem, the best thing I can do is start with a sketch. So there's my circular pool. And then it says that we're doing a fence around it. So as soon as I hear around a circular item or object, I realize that I'm talking about circumference. And so what I know now is that the circumference is 75 feet. Now there are two formulas to deal with circumference. Since the question is asking us to find the radius, I'm going to work with the one that says circumference equals 2 pi r. That way the answer that I get will be the radius. So I think that's a little bit more direct. So now that I have the formula chosen, I'm going to start to substitute in the values that I have. I know the circumference, it's 75. And then I know that we have 2 times, and I was told to use 3.14 for pi, so I'll substitute 3.14. And then what I'm looking for is the radius. On the next line, I'm going to keep the 75 the same. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I am going to begin by multiplying on this side. You don't have to. This is how I like to do it. It just makes things a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 3.14. That gives me 6.28, and then of course it's multiplied by the radius, the r. From here, I'm going to divide by 6.28 on both sides. I'll do this on both sides so that the equation remains in balance. 6.28 divided by 6.28 gives me a coefficient of 1 for the r. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to divide from top to bottom, just like we read. So 75 divided by 6.28, this gives me 11.94, and then it goes on from there. I don't need all those values, those digits, because the question says to round my answer to the nearest whole number. So that means I'm going to look at the 11. I have a 9 in the next place after the 11, and so I'm going to round up to the nearest whole number. That means that my answer will be rounded up to 12. So the correct answer here was 12. If you chose the wrong answer of 37.5, then what you did was that you took what we now know is actually the circumference, which is 75, and you divided by 2, and that gave you 37.5. So my guess is that you got a little bit mixed up, and you were thinking actually about the relationship between radius and diameter. So the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius, and the radius is equal to half the diameter. And so I think that's what you had in your mind when you divided by 2. Of course, that's not what we needed to do. And my suggestion for how to be more accurate in the future is to start always with a quick sketch. It doesn't take very long, but at least for me, it increases my accuracy by a lot. And then from there, you want to find the correct formula and use that to help structure your work. Maybe the other reason that you got this wrong is maybe you weren't sure about some of your vocabulary, things like radius or circumference. So if you're not strong or clear about your vocabulary, you might want to take a little bit of time to practice those words because they'll make problems like this so much easier.